Imagine having the life of your dreams. Not temporary cash and glory, but happiness and inner peace. Explore new ways to be a creator and take your own journey into greatness. Is it possible? What does it take to make that happen? It takes the person known for extreme results. He's called the cage breaker and the ultimate catalyst. Coming back from the brink of death and now crushing it for himself and his clients, this is Your Ultimate Life Podcast with Kellen Flukiger.
All right, we are back today and every day with another episode of Your Ultimate Life. We are over halfway done with the Pillar of Truth, and today we're laying the fifth stone in the Pillar of Truth. Now, let's just review just for a second. We're building the Palace of Power. Now, I've used the metaphor of a palace just for fun. And my thought is it's this beautiful sort of fantasy, science fiction-y palace in the air, in the clouds, right? And I'm seeing greens and blues and purples and kind of like the Northern Lights thing, right? Holding up this palace. And underneath it, there are 7 pillars that hold up this Palace of Power. And the Palace of Power is a representation of the power that you need, that I need, to build the ultimate life, to do what we want, to make a real difference in the world and create that life of purpose, prosperity, and joy by serving with our divine gifts. Because power is required to do anything, a little bit of power or a lot of power. And the more you and I understand and do the things required to get power, the more impact we can have in the world, the more good we can do, and the happier we can be and help others to be. And so that's really the goal of this whole thing. And I broke the pillars. There's 7 pillars, and each pillar is way too big to talk about in a single episode, so I broke it into 7 parts. We did the pillar of choice in all its nuances. We did the pillar of language in all its nuances. Now, this is the pillar of truth. Truth is one of those fundamental things. We've talked about truth being foundational, factual, perceptual, and principle-based. Today, we're talking about independence. Independence. Truth is independent. Now, we talked yesterday about eternal truths and that they guide us, and that the principles of truth are the same. They're equivalent to facts that we see in the physical world. And I quoted, some scientific constants, speed of light, and the gravitational constant, and wavelengths of light. And, all those are factual things we can demonstrate in a lab. When we get into the squishy world of the spirit or feelings, it doesn't mean that truth is squishy. It's not. And that's a giant mistake that we all make sometimes. And sometimes we make it on purpose because we want to create the idea that truth is what I say it is. And it's not. Truth is what it is. It is not subject to my interpretation. And one of the ways to describe it, we talked a little bit about that in Truth is Foundational. The real key here is that truth is dependent. Right? Independent. I'm sorry, not dependent. I'm saying that. Truth is independent. It is not dependent on what I say or think it is. And we do this thing in the world now, individualism. Everybody, interprets everything the way they want to, and that's all good. You can live your life how you want to, and if it's true for you, that's good. Well, there are many things that are okay that way. What we like, what we don't like, what we want to do, what we don't want to do, who we want to be. Even however we choose to live through this mortal life of 60 or 100 years or however long we get. All those are things we get to choose. What we don't get to choose is how that relates to eternal truth. So if I choose with my agency to ignore eternal principles of integrity, love, kindness, service, then I will not be in the same situation as someone who lives those eternal truths, because they are eternal truths. And what I will have developed is into a person who lives according to their own desires, my own wishes, whatever I want, it's all good. And someone else who's learned to serve and love and give, they have developed into that person. Well, there's a difference between those two people in the context of what comes next after this life and what came before this life. So those truths are independent. I can't think God in or out of existence. I can't think the principle of love in or out of existence. It is. And that's really important as a foundation to understanding how to access and use the pillar of truth as a foundation for your palace of power. Now, let me tell you a couple of things that I believe that I know about you. I believe that at this point, you're all in, or you wouldn't be here. Now, what do I mean by all in? Well, you want to create the ultimate life. You want your life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. You really do. Or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't waste your 15 minutes a day listening to this podcast because there are other things you could do with that 15 minutes. You're here because you believe that this ultimate life concept is real, that it's attainable, and I hope my goal, and I may or may not be achieving it, and I'd love to hear from you if you love it or if you hate it. My goal is to give you things that I have learned that have given me this power, that have given me this palace of power, that have helped me understand and live with and use these pillars that hold it up to create the ultimate life that I live. I love my life every day. I love not just doing these podcasts, doing the music, writing the books, coaching. People ask me often, well, what do you do when you go on vacation? And the answer is, I'm on vacation. I live on vacation. I don't take a vacation from work because I don't view it as work. I have a life purpose. My purpose is to help 1 million to 2 million, maybe 5 million people, to reach them and give them the fundamental truth that they are divine, they have gifts and talents, and they can have anything they want from that place. If you don't know that you're divine and you have divine gifts and all the help you need is available, then you have a context straitjacket that limits your access. Not because the power's not there, but because you don't believe it's available to you or you don't understand how to get it. And my goal is to remove all those barriers so I don't have to take a vacation. Some days and weeks I do more, I speak more, I write more, I do more podcasts, I do more coaching, and other weeks I do less. I get tired and everything like everybody else. But the creation of my morning ritual and the way that I choose to live the life that I have means that I live a life of joy every day. It's fun. And I do exactly what I want to do, and I want to help you do that. Because me having it alone, so what? My goal is to help you learn, create, and have what you want. So I believe you're all in, or you wouldn't be here listening to this. The second thing is I want to describe what I mean by independent. There are lots of things that we believe are true for a minute. Like we might believe someone's an honest and good politician or a servant in public office. Then something happens, either something is revealed or they change who they're being, and we realize that they have been embezzling or doing, embarrassing or gross things. And so our thought changes. Well, it wasn't true to start with, and whether we knew it or not, the truth was already what it was. Scientific hypotheses are the same. We look at a set of facts and we make a hypothesis that fits the facts. And then we postulate how something works. I love studying that, especially down in the realm of subatomics and quantum particles and all that jazz. It's fun. It's fascinating. I'm diving into the 0-point field and how energy exists when all motion should have stopped and particles pop in and out of existence and particles and antiparticles and all that gobbledygook. It's fun. But the truth is we don't really know very much down there. We make hypotheses and then we test them and we see if they work. And if they continue to work and fit the facts, it moves a step closer to being real. But we don't declare it as absolute, eternal, and inviolate truth. We just keep it as a working hypothesis that is the best one we've got right now. That works in science. It works in our relationships. We believe what we believe about ourselves and people. What I want to talk about is the absolute eternal truth. Love is an eternal principle. Nothing will change it. It's the most powerful force in the universe. It's the basis on which God interacts with us, his creations. The more I choose, this is my discovery, and I'm sharing it with you, the more I choose to live in accordance with those eternal principles of love, kindness, service, integrity, honesty, and all those things, the happier I am, and the more effective I am. Truth carries its own power, and that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. But all of these things are completely independent. They don't depend on anything else. So my opinion doesn't change eternal truth. Even though my understanding may change, my perception may change. A few episodes ago, we talked about the more we develop our ability to perceive what is true, the more it's useful and powerful for us. Because if I don't know how to use a screwdriver, then I use it all wrong, and it doesn't do me very much good as a tool. As soon as I learn how to use it right, there's different sizes of screwdrivers to use different, for different bolts, nuts and things, not nuts, but bolts. Then I get it, I get a lot more value out of it. Well, eternal truth, absolute truth is the same. So here's the key. Don't get stuck on any of your interpretations of anything. Understand and lean into and spend your energy finding eternal truth, living according to it, forgiving yourself freely, because those that dare greatly fail greatly. We know that. That's okay. When we fail, we have two choices. We back off and give up, or we get up and recommit. So the truth of the fact that truth is independent is unassailable. It is, and we can't change it with our opinions. But what we can do is we have really three choices with that fact. We can ignore it, and we can pretend that we don't need to know any truth and that none of it's absolute anyway, and it's all relative, whatever I think. So I can ignore it. I can align myself with it, and by that I mean choose to discover truth, to live in accordance with it, to master myself, to align myself more powerfully with the things that are in fact true. So I can ignore it, I can align myself with it, but the one thing I can't do is change it. I can't change the nature of love. I can't change the nature and the meaning of integrity or honesty. I can ignore it and live however I want, and the consequences of that are whatever they are. I may have friends, I may lose them, I may do good in business, I may do poorly. I know in my heart if I'm being honest and full of integrity or not. And that is what it is, but it doesn't change the eternal truths of honesty, integrity, love, and compassion, forgiveness. The more enlightened and powerful, so we're talking about how to get power. The way to get power is to align yourself with eternal truth. Fighting about it, arguing about it, trying to change it has never created power for anyone. Ignoring it often means that you can't break it, you'll break yourself against those eternal truths. I heard somebody say that about, I think, the 10 Commandments or something. You can't break the commandments, you can just break yourself against them. Eternal truth is what it is. You can spend all your effort and energy fighting it or ignoring it, but if you're truly trying to create power, to add good to the world, to live your ultimate life, and to serve with your divine gifts, then the choice that gives you that power is to align with it. Now, none of us are perfect. Me, far from it. Anyone that's read Tightrope of Depression or any of the books that I've written about my own journey knows how far I'd wandered off all those paths and how much work I do and have had to do and still do every single day to align myself with that truth. One of the most powerful things that I do every single day is a morning ritual to check my alignment. Am I aligned with truth? Meditation, deep, powerful meditation and prayer, connection with the divine. Am I aligning what I'm doing today, what I'm planning today, what I want to accomplish? Am I aligned for the best good of myself and others? Now, it used to be a real struggle for me to do that every day. Oh, I got to do this. I got to get up. I want to sleep. The more I have done it and do this morning ritual and do this meditation and align my life and my desires and my aching and my yearning with eternal truth, the happier I am. The happier I am, the easier it gets. So it is not difficult for me to remember when it was all hard. Today, I would never skip my morning ritual because I don't know, because I'm not skipping it, but when I used to skip it, I didn't have good days. I didn't get as much done. I didn't feel in alignment. And mostly when I was interacting with others, to love them, to coach them, to serve them, to find people to talk to create programs, I didn't feel inspired. I didn't feel my mind and my tongue and my thoughts on fire and aligned. I felt confused and clouded and all that sort of stuff. So alignment, you can ignore, you can't change, but alignment creates that power. So if you understand that truth is independent and you choose, like I have, to align yourself with that truth, and every single day make it a part of your getting up to check everything that you're doing today, is that aligned with the things that I know are true, right, and good, with the principles of love and service and integrity and compassion and forgiveness. That will help you take the most advantage of truth, the independence of truth, and build the pillar of truth to support your palace of power and create your ultimate life.
Open your heart and this time around.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. We hope that you take it deeply into your heart and decide for yourself how you can create anything you desire. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to this podcast and share it with your friends. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback and topic suggestions. Until tomorrow, this is Your Ultimate Life with host Kellen Flukiger.
Stand with your heart in the sky and your feet